while it was still dark, and saw.
21.
Sorry. After this, Jesus revealed himself again to the disciples by the Sea of Tiberias. And he revealed himself in this way. Simon Peter, Thomas, called his name, Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and the two other of his disciples were together. Simon Peter said to them, I'm going fishing. They said to him, we will go with you. They went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Just as the day was breaking, Jesus stood on the shore, yet the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to them, Children, do you not have any fish? They answered him, No. He said to them, Cast their net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some. So they cast it. And now they were not able to haul it in because of the quantity of fish. The disciple whom Jesus loved, therefore, said to Peter, It is the Lord. When Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on his outer garment, for he was stripped for work, and threw himself into the sea. The other disciple came into the boat, dragging the net full of fish, for they were not far from the land, but about 100 yards off. When they got out on the land, they saw a charcoal fire in place, where the fish laid out on it, and bread. Jesus said to them, Bring some of the fish that you have just caught. So Simon Peter went aboard and hauled the net ashore, full of large fish, 153 of them. And although there were so many, the net was not torn.
Jesús y la pesca milagrosa. Después de esto, Jesús apareció de nuevo a sus discípulos junto al lago de Tiberiades. Sucedió de esta manera: estaban juntos Simón Pedro, Tomás el que apodaban el Gemelo, Natanael, el de Caná de Galilea, los hijos de Zebedeo y otros dos discípulos. Me voy a pescar, dijo Simón Pedro. Nos vamos contigo, contestaron ellos. Salieron pues de allí y se embarcaron, pero esa noche no pescaron nada. Al despuntar el alba, Jesús se hizo presente en la orilla, pero los discípulos no se dieron cuenta de que era él. Muchachos, ¿no tienen algo de comer? Preguntó Jesús. No, respondieron ellos. Tiren la red a la derecha de la barca y pescarán algo. Así lo hicieron. Era tal la cantidad de pescados que ya no podían sacar la red. Es el Señor, dijo a Pedro, el discípulo a quien Jesús amaba. Tan pronto como Simón Pedro le oyó decir, es el Señor, se puso la ropa, pues estaba semidesnudo, y se tiró al agua. Los otros discípulos lo siguieron en la barca, arrastrando la red llena de pescado, pues estaban a escasos 100 metros de la orilla. Al desembarcar vieron unas brasas con un pescado encima y un pan. Traigan algunos de los pescados que acaban de sacar, les dijo Jesús. Simón Pedro subió a bordo y arrastró hasta la orilla la red, la cual estaba llena de pescados de buen tamaño. Eran 153, pero a pesar de ser tantos, la red no se rompió.
Este es nuestro antepenúltimo sermón de la serie de Juan. Hemos estado con Juan ya casi 2 años.
Yeah, we've been in John for 2 years. This is the second to last sermon that we're going to have in this book.
Y hemos estado caminando, y en esta porción estamos más o menos a un mes después de la resurrección.
Yeah, we've been walking through the entire book, and right now we're about a month after the resurrection has occurred.
Y esta fue la tercera vez que Jesús se le apareció a los discípulos, y así lo vemos en Juan 2, 21, 14.
In John 21:14, we realize that this is the third time that Jesus has appeared to his disciples.
Una con María Magdalena,
One with Mary Magdalene and the disciples,
otra con los discípulos,
one with the disciples,
y otra más con Tomás.
and another one with Thomas.
Acabamos de ver la semana pasada en Juan que el propósito de todo el libro de Juan es que nosotros creamos.
The purpose of the whole book that we saw last week in John 20:31 is that we believe that Jesus is the Christ, and that believing we have what? Life.
Y Él nos lo ha demostrado semana con semana, mes con mes, en estos mensajes bien detallados que Él nos da.
John's given us detailed messages every week and every month by month, and we've been doing this for the last 2 years about who Jesus is, about how he is God the Christ.
Por ejemplo, en Juan 14 Él nos pide, no se angustien.
In John 14, he tells us not to be anxious.
Juan 15 dice, permanezcan en mí.
In John 15, he tells us to abide in him.
Juan 16, anímense, yo he vencido al mundo.
John 16, he tells us, take heart, I've overcome the world.
En Juan 17 Él le pide al Padre para que nosotros seamos uno con Él, así como Él es uno con el Padre.
John 17, he asks the Father to make us one as he and the Father are one.
En el capítulo 18, cuando Chris predicó esto, que cuando Pedro saca su espada contra este batallón, Jesús está calmado en control de la situación.
John 18, just like Chris preached, Jesus sovereignly and calmly deals with hundreds of soldiers while Peter draws his sword out thinking he's going to do something about it.
Hace un par de semanas Dios nos mostró cómo Jesús está ahí en medio de nuestros miedos.
A couple of weeks ago, we saw in John 20 that Jesus positions himself in the middle of our fears.
Y esta semana pasada también vimos cómo Jesús está ahí incluso cuando luchamos contra
And
la
a week ago,
incredulidad.
we talked about from John 20 how Jesus is drawing us even in the midst of our unbelief and skepticism.
En esta ocasión vamos a ver cómo Jesús se manifiesta a nosotros en medio de nuestra frustración.
Today, we're going to see from this passage how Jesus positions himself and manifests himself in the middle of our frustration.
Al igual una invitación a compartir con Él los frutos de nuestros esfuerzos bajo su instrucción.
And what he's going to do is invite you now, as he invited them, to join him in the fruit that he produces through our lives.
Y a darnos cuenta una vez más de que no somos nada sin Él.
We're going to realize again that we're not anything without him.
Y de cómo Él busca manifestarse en nuestra playa, a pesar de que a veces no ponemos atención o no escuchamos las instrucciones o su palabra.
We're also going to realize how Jesus wants to manifest himself on the beach of our life, even though we are slow to listen and slow to obey.
Versículo 1. Después de esto, Jesús se apareció de nuevo a sus discípulos junto al lago de Tiberias. Sucedió de esta manera.
Verse 1, after these things, Jesus manifested himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias, and he manifested himself in this way.
Él se manifestó. Cuando tú haces algo con frecuencia, eso comunica que es algo que te gusta hacer.
When you do something frequently, it's something that you probably like to do, correct?
Y lo que vemos aquí es que Jesús quiere y le gusta manifestarse en su vida.
This is the third time Jesus has manifested himself, which obviously shows this is something he wants to do.
Pero también nos comunica que a veces Él va a permitir situaciones de frustración en nuestra vida.
But also the way he manifests himself is with a purpose. And sometimes he allows situations of frustration in order that he may manifest himself in our lives.
Con el propósito de manifestarse en nuestra vida, no porque nos necesite, pero porque nos ama.
He doesn't give us these situations of frustration because he needs us and he manifests himself because we're somehow necessary to him, but because he loves us.
Versículo 2 y 3. Estaban juntos Simón Pedro, Tomás, el que podó el gemelo, Natanael de Caná, de Galilea, los hijos de Zebedeo y otros de sus discípulos.
Verses 2 and 3. Simon Peter and Thomas called Didymus and Nathanael of Cana in Galilee and the sons of Zebedee and two others of his disciples were together.
Me voy a pescar, dijo Simón Pedro.
Simon Peter said to them, I'm going fishing.
Nos vamos contigo, contestaron ellos. Salieron pues de ahí y se embarcaron, pero esa noche no pescaron nada. Y marca la palabra nada porque es un nada muy literario. Ahorita vamos a hablar más sobre eso.
They said to him, we will also come with you. They went out, got out of the boat, and that night what did they catch? Nothing. Mark that down. Note the word nothing in the text, and we're going to talk about it at length.
Y vemos el liderazgo de Pedro. Me voy a pescar, nosotros vamos contigo. Él está como líder del grupo ahorita.
We can see Peter and his leadership taking the entire group to go fishing.
Pero me encanta Pedro y me identifico tanto con él.
I love Peter and I identify with him a lot.
Porque Pedro sin Jesús es torpe, es osado, es aventado. Dispara primero y después pregunta.
Peter's just like us without Jesus, clumsy, daring, shoot first, ask later. That's who Peter is, right? Haven't we seen that?
¿Alguien más se identifica con él?
Anybody identify with that?
Trump.
Raise your hand. Just kidding. I'm not calling you out.
Pero fíjense, después de esto vamos a ver la próxima semana cómo Jesús lo redime completamente.
What we're going to see next week, and as we continue on in the passage, is how Jesus redeems him completely from this.
Y vamos a ver cómo Pedro va a comenzar su proceso por medio del Espíritu Santo, donde Pedro va a terminar escribiendo cartas como primera y segunda de Pedro.
And we're going to see Peter as he grows in the process of when the Spirit gets a hold of him. Man, this guy preaches at Pentecost, he writes letters, he becomes a mature man.
Y vamos a ver un Pedro completo, en mansedumbre, íntegro.
Yeah, we're going to see Peter as he's wise, as he's coming into integrity, and as he doesn't depend on others to define his identity.
Sin necesidad de comprobar a nadie quién es él, porque él sabe quién él es en Cristo. Pero esta noche él no ha llegado a ese punto todavía.
He hasn't gotten there yet.
Se lleva a los discípulos a pescar.
And he takes the disciples to go back fishing.
Dice, aquella noche no pescaron nada, nada muy literal. ¿Cómo te sentirías tú si vas a pescar? Yo no encuentro mayor frustración en esta actividad que ir a pescar y no sacar nada.
So that night they went, what they catch? Tell me again? Nothing. You think you'd be frustrated if you went all night and you caught nothing? Absolutely.
Porque fueron, y estaban en la noche, ni siquiera eran horas laborales.
They wasn't even during the day. They were fishing at night and they caught nothing.
Aparte tenemos este contexto de que el que no pesca no come.
And in this context, if you didn't fish, what? If you didn't catch anything, you didn't eat.
Estaba hablando con Phil y con José acerca de ir a pescar.
I was just talking with Phil and Jose about fishing.
Y no está muy atractiva ir a 2-3 horas de camino a pescar, a solearte.
Probably, I'm supposed to say probably it's not all that attractive to go 2 or 3 hours out and just get yourself burned and you're not going to catch anything.
Y no está chido tener que pasar a McDonald's por unos McChicken porque no pescaste nada.
And you don't want to have to go by the store in the morning like McDonald's to get you a McChicken because you didn't catch anything the previous night.
Si de pura chiripa un pez iluso o nimo se mete en tu red, no, tú ya te sientes el super pescador.
Even when you're a seasoned fisherman, you throw your net out there and you didn't catch anything.
Pero ni siquiera eso, porque el texto dice no pescaron nada.
They didn't catch anything.
¿Sabes lo que significa la palabra nada en griego?
What does the word nothing mean in Greek?
Nada.
It means nothing. So, it means nothing.
¿Qué produce esto?
What does this type of failure produce?
Frustración,
Frustration,
cansancio,
fatigue,
humillación,
humiliation.
porque ni siquiera sacaste una bota, una rama.
You didn't even catch a boot.
Y preguntarte a ti mismo, ¿qué pasa?
And you're asking yourself, what's happening? What's happening?
Al despuntar el alba, Jesús se hizo presente en la orilla, pero los discípulos no se dieron cuenta que era él. Muchachos, ¿no tienen algo de comer?, les preguntó Jesús. No, respondió ellos.
Verses 4 and 5, but when the day was now breaking, Jesus stood on the beach, yet the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. So Jesus said to them, children, you do not have any fish, do you? They answered him, no.
Al despuntar el alba, o sea que estuvieron, ¿qué? Pescando toda la noche.
They've been fishing all night, and now it's dawn.
Y a mí me encanta Jesús. Jesús es el tipo con más clase del universo.
Jesus is the classiest guy in the universe.
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué no se apareció a medianoche después de que tiraron la red 2-3 veces y ok, ya vi que no pueden, vengo?
Why didn't he show up at midnight? They've thrown the net out a couple of times, 3 times. He knows they can't do it, but he's not showing up until midnight. He shows up in the morning when they've thrown it out there time after time after time.
No, se esperó hasta la mañana. Y los discípulos lo vieron, pero no sabían que era él porque estaba a 200 metros.
The disciples saw him, but they didn't know who he was because he was at about 200 meters and 300 feet.
Y si ti a mí nos cuesta leer la Biblia a medio pie, imagínate a 300 pies solo ves una sombra.
If you can't read a Bible at a foot away from your face, imagine trying to figure out who Jesus was at 300 feet, just a shadow.
Entonces viene una pregunta que si tú la ves desde afuera, parecería tonta la pregunta.
Why would Jesus ask this question? Do you have any fish? It seems a little silly from the outside looking in.
Muchachos, ¿no tienen algo de comer?
He says, don't you have anything to eat? You got any fish?
O sea, él sabe que no han pescado nada.
He already knew that they didn't have anything.
Pero es una pregunta para que tú veas tu situación, te arrepientas y te des cuenta de que necesitas ayuda.
This question that Jesus is asking is so that they realize their situation, they want to repent and then return to Him. It's a realization of their own situation.
Y tenemos que ver algo, hay un escenario de frustración aquí. Y lo que debemos entender es que Jesús va a permitir ese escenario de frustración.
You need to understand that we're right here in the middle of a scenario of frustration with the disciples that Jesus hasn't allowed and even ordained for a reason, for a purpose.
Para manifestarse en nuestra vida.
What He wants to do is to manifest Himself in their lives just like He's manifesting Himself in our lives.
Ahora, si tu vida le pertenece a Jesús, Él va a permitir esas situaciones.
If your life belongs to Jesus, He's going to allow situations like this. Raise your hand if you've ever had a frustration. Amen, somebody.
Pero no las va a permitir si Él no tiene el propósito de manifestarse.
He's not going to allow it without a purpose for it. He always allows moments of frustration with a purpose.
Y la pregunta, ¿no tienen algo de comer?
There's a question. You don't have anything to eat?
Jesús sabía que no había pescado nada, ¿verdad?
He already knew that they hadn't caught anything.
Pero es una pregunta muy al estilo de Génesis 3:9.
This question is exactly like Genesis 3:9.
Adán, ¿dónde estás?
When God comes to the garden and He says, Adam, where are you?
Otra vez, no es que Dios no sepa dónde está. Él sabe exactamente dónde está Adán.
God wasn't looking for Adam like He didn't know where he was. He knew exactly where Adam was.
Pero es una pregunta muy al estilo de Dios para que tú entres en razón y digas, es cierto. ¿Qué demonios hago escondido detrás de este árbol cuando hay un Dios tan maravilloso que me busca, que sabe lo que hice y me sigue buscando?
This is a question that's pointed to Adam with the purpose of him realizing where he's at. God already knows where he is. He's saying, realize where you're at, realize that you're hiding from me, and that I already see you. He's drawing him back to himself.
para que te preguntes, ¿qué estoy haciendo?
So that he starts asking, what am I doing here? What am I doing here?
Muy al estilo, muy como ejemplo, Elías en 1 Reyes 19:9.
This is also like Elijah in 1 Kings 19:9.
Elías, después de ganar una guerra, entra en una depresión terrible porque la reina lo amenaza de muerte.
After he wins a great victory, he gets super depressed and then goes to a cave to hide himself.
Y entonces él huye al desierto y allí encuentra una cueva y se esconde ahí.
He flees from Queen Jezebel and God finds him there.
Dios lo encuentra ahí y le dice, ¿qué haces aquí, Elías?
He asks him, what are you doing here, Elijah?
Es no como que Dios despertó y dice, órale, ¿qué haces aquí?
It's not like God woke up in the cave and said, hey, Elijah's here, great, I'm going to talk to him.
No, le está diciendo, ¿qué estás haciendo aquí, hijo?
What are you doing here, son?
Yo no te creé ni te diseñé para que te escondas. Tu vida tiene un propósito.
God has a purpose for Elijah. He's asking him, I didn't design you for this. Why are you fleeing? What are you doing here?
Es una pregunta muy similar. ¿Tienen algo de comer?
This is a very similar question. We need God to reorient us here.
Esta es una pregunta que Dios permite para darte la oportunidad de confesar y declarar que no tenemos nada.
This is a question that God allows. This is a scenario that God allows for us to begin to question ourselves. What are we doing here? Why? We need to realize our own situation.
Y quizás tú vienes esta mañana así.
Maybe you came like that this morning.
Encontré 7 escenarios al azar.
We're going to give 7 scenarios that maybe describe you. Maybe this is how you're here this morning. Maybe you came with these types of issues going on.
Ahora sí que cualquier parecido con la realidad fue a propósito.
Maybe this looks like reality, but you need to know if you're in Christ, there's a purpose to all of these things we're about to do. Listen to this.
Quizás tú vienes esta mañana, toda tu vida trabajada, nada tienes hoy.
Maybe you came this morning. I just want to see if this is correct. Maybe you came this morning, all your life you've worked and you have nothing today to show for it and no satisfaction.
¿Has conocido gente aquí? No, antes yo tenía 36 casas y 16 carros.
Maybe you were saying, maybe you know somebody that said before, man, look at all the things I used to have and now what?
Nada. Quizás no. Quizás tú vienes todos estos años trabajados en tu matrimonio y hoy no encuentras una razón que te anime a seguir junto a él.
Maybe you come this morning with years and years and years that you've worked on your marriage and you feel like it's been a total failure.
Quizás no, quizás tú vienes como todos tus años trabajados de cristiano y hoy en día no tienes el gozo, la paz y la satisfacción que sabes que debe existir.
Maybe you come this morning, you've been a Christian for years, but you don't have the joy or the peace that you used to have and you know you should have.
Por 2 razones.
Maybe there's 2 reasons for that.
Porque alguna vez la tuviste
Maybe you used to have it.
o porque ves eso evidente en la vida de otros que aman a Cristo.
Maybe you see it in the life of other people.
Quizás no. Quizás tú vienes con todas tus relaciones y no has hallado a uno que no te haya engañado y dejado.
Maybe you come with all your relationships and there's not a single one that you haven't messed up, deceived, or left.
Quizás no. Quizás tú vienes con todo tu conocimiento y tu sabiduría y tu erudición y aún no se te ocurre nada para salir del círculo vicioso en el que estás.
Maybe you come with all your knowledge, studies, you're an erudite, but none of that can help you right now to get out of the vicious cycle of sin and destruction you're in.
¿Todavía no te encuentras? Okay. Quizás quizás vienes hoy todo lo que das y nadie te agradece, especialmente los padres.
Maybe you come this morning and you've done so much stuff and nobody thanks you for it. Maybe especially your family.
Dicen, qué hijos tan ingratos tengo. Ni una llamada me hacen.
Yeah, maybe parents are thinking, what ungrateful kids I've got, they don't even call me.
Pero sabes que si tú tienes un papá o una mamá así, ora por ellos.
You got parents, pray for your parents, pray for your children.
Porque la verdad es que Dios a veces va a permitir que tú tengas hijos ingratos
Sometimes God is going to allow you to have these ungrateful children
para regalarte una foto de cómo tú te has visto ante Él.
to give you a picture of how you are before Him.
Y que no digas, qué hijos tan ingratos tengo, sino decir, wow, así me veo yo con Dios.
Maybe you don't need to be pointing the finger, but looking at yourself and saying, wow, maybe that's me before God.
Él me procura, me cuida, me alienta y yo no más dependo cuando yo quiera.
He does everything for me, and how much do I ever thank Him for that?
Quizás no. Quizás tú vienes como perfeccionista,
Maybe you come this morning as a perfectionist.
que todos somos así en áreas de nuestra vida.
All of us are like that in some ways.
Tal vez 1 o 2 áreas de nuestra vida,
Maybe in 2 or 3 areas of our life.
pero lo demás está deshaciendo y cayendo atrás.
Maybe the rest of it's falling apart.
Y trabajamos, ese es el punto, trabajamos y le damos duro en esta sola cosa que hacemos bien.
We work, and it's one thing, we want to do it so well.
Nos aferramos a esta cosa, pero esto lo hago bien.
I do this one thing well, the rest of my life's falling apart, but I do this one thing well.
Y a veces estamos como el faraón.
Sometimes we're like Pharaoh in this way.
nos aferramos a esta cosa. Los asesores del faraón te dirían, ya, ríndete, ¿qué defiendes? ¿Qué no ves que el reino está en ruinas?
The servants of Pharaoh came to him when the kingdom's falling apart and they're saying, just surrender for crying out loud, and his stubborn heart wouldn't let him do it.
Ya, ríndete.
So surrender. Surrender. Don't be like that.
Es curioso porque si tú vienes esta mañana como algunos de estos ejemplos,
You come like that this morning.
la buena noticia es,
Good news is,
bienvenido a la barca.
welcome to the club.
Jesús se aparece en tu playa esta mañana y tiene algo que mostrar.
Jesus wants to manifest himself to you in the beach of your life to tell you something this morning.
Tiren la red a la derecha de la barca y pescarán algo. Así lo hicieron y era tal la cantidad de pescados que ya no podían sacar la red.
Verse 6, and he said to them, cast the net on the right-hand side of the boat, and you'll find a catch. So they cast, and they were not able to haul it in because of the great number of fish.
Ok, ya reconociste que no puedes. ¿Estás cansado? Ahora, ahí te va una ¿qué? Instrucción.
Now when Jesus, they finally recognize the fact that they can't, they recognize their situation because of the question of Jesus, now they're ready to receive an instruction from him.
Echa la red a la derecha y encontrarás.
Throw the net to the right, and you will find a great catch of fish.
Además, esta es una instrucción muy específica, porque si los discípulos están como tú o como yo, ya te dice, tira la red a la derecha y tú la tiras a donde sea.
It's a really specific instruction for us because we're super dense, just like the disciples, right? We'd throw the net over the boat probably if he didn't tell us to throw it to the right.
Echa la red a la derecha y encontrarás.
Throw it to the right, and you'll find a catch.
Y me encanta porque no fue así de que echa la red a la derecha y a lo mejor te atrapan algo.
It doesn't say throw the net to the right and maybe you're going to find something.
Chicle y pega y agarran algo.
Maybe put some gum on it and you'll catch something.
No, cuando Dios da una instrucción, Él garantiza el resultado.
When God gives an instruction, He guarantees the result.
Y a veces tenemos un problema cuando Dios nos desata o nos suelta las consecuencias de nuestras malas decisiones.
Sometimes we have a problem when God gives us over to the decisions that we've made, our own bad decisions.
Y tendremos a enojarnos y decir, Dios, pero ¿por qué permites que pase esto?
And we get mad at God and ask Him why He's permitted these things to happen in our life.
Pero si tu vida es guiada por Jesús,
If you're guided by Jesus,
Él garantiza el resultado.
He guarantees the result.
¿Por qué?
Why?
Porque Él es Dios.
Because He's God, the only God.